Brandon, what you need is, what's that dude's name on TikTok that you watch that does the fishing?
Junkie?
Yeah, him. You need some fishing rods like chunky, so that way people can see them.
Alright, so I just rolled up at my spot, waiting on Jared to get here. Gonna go check the water before I unload the truck. I can see one little section of it. It's murky, but not muddy. So this is a little smaller feeder river before it feeds into the big river. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, the bigger river, we're gonna be fishing just a little bit upstream of where this comes in. So it did rain a little bit. It rained just recently. It didn't rain on the way up here, but you can see on the road, but it's kind of dry. So most of the river looked down every time I would cross parts of the river. So let's see what we got here. Oh, I think it's gonna be about right. It's murkier than it was last time. Can't really tell. Last time I had a path through here. Somebody's done made a little ladder here. That's nice. See if I can do this without dying. Oh man, that's nice. Yeah, I think we're gonna be alright. It's starting to sprinkle rain, but I think we're gonna be in good shape right here. Alright, so I'll go a little over kind of what I carry in my bank fishing catfish bag. Just kind of a simple setup, backpack, assorted weights. I like 3/0 hooks for catfish and my striper, but the 3/0 offset is my favorite. Keep a couple pyramid weights in here in case I fish somewhere with some heavy current. Obviously some swivels. I love egg sinkers because in pyramid weights they do tend to kind of bind up. They will snag you up in a heartbeat. I will change the size of my hook kind of to the fish I'm catching. I mean, I've got some 1/0s. You know, if I start catching some small channels, maybe I'll switch up to a 1/0. Sometimes I'll run some rods with 1/0s, but I will say a few of the best things. Pack of glow sticks off Amazon to put on your rod at night so you know it's biting. A rubber mallet to drive your rod holders in. Their brand is Takedown Rod Holders, and they are amazing. I mean, really, really tough, really, really strong. They're incredible. I carry that mallet, and that way if I get somewhere real hard ground or maybe some rocks, I drive it in there. You can't always push it with your hand. I did bring my saltwater bag in case I need a little bit heavier weights. A pair of needle nose pliers. Always, always, always got to have you a cut knife, cut bait. It's raining now. I carry a black contractor bag. I'll cut it up or sometimes not, drape it over my bag so my bag, whatever I got, doesn't sit there and just get wet. Not too worried about me. Obviously flashlights, headlights, coon lights, whatever you got. Use my striper rods, same as my catfish rods. I don't typically get into the ginormous catfish where I need the big monster stuff. Maybe one day. Never really had much of an issue with my medium lights and about 18-pound test and a 12-pound leader. That way if I get hung up, I can break my leader off. I take this with me deer hunting, fishing, all kinds of stuff, camping. A little light off Amazon, rechargeable. Hanging on my camper shell, hanging in my tent. It dims down. These things are, well, one of my favorite things I've ever got off Amazon. So, well worth it. And a rag. Always have a rag. Wipe your hands, grab fish, whatever you need. Number one most important thing, the bucket to sit on. Got the little 5-gallon bucket lid. I can put my trash in here. Maybe I got a little bobber. I might do some brim fishing or something. Got a little lightweight fishing rod holder. But gotta have a seat, man. Sometimes you get big catfish, you pop the seat off, lay your fish in here, and help carry it back to the cooler. That's kind of my quick, hey, I want to go catch a catfish, not drag a whole bunch of stuff out, throw a couple things in the truck and I'm gone. All right, let's talk bait. Blueback herring is what we use for striper. These catfish in the river, they love them. Absolutely love them. They're oily, they're good, they scaly. Been struggling. I'm still kind of figuring this box out, but most of them are alive. They're kicking pretty good. Really doing a lot better than I expected. Blue salt, better bait. Helps keep them alive. Flatheads you get in the river like this, flatheads, they love live bait, but I catch them on cut too. So, but the main thing is, if it's alive and it dies, you can use it for cut bait. But once it's dead, you can't bring it back to life. So try to keep your bait alive as long as you can. And if you can keep it alive, you can do multiple things with it. You can fish live, you can fish cut, and if you keep it alive, it'll stay on your hook better once it does die. If you use an old bait, it loses its scent, it loses its strength on the hook, it turns to mush. Fresh bait makes a huge difference. Didn't rain on me the whole drive up here. Whole hour and a half to get here. It's been raining ever since I got out of the truck. But that's bait. Alright, so spot one we spent about an hour at. Turtle kind of started pulling my line. It's a really good spot, and nothing. Really kind of disappointed on that, but got a couple more spots we're going to check out and see if we can't get on something here in a minute. Yellow cats, aka bullheads, despite Jared calls them yellow cats, swears they're yellow cats. I think they're bullheads. We'll see. But they eat really good, like phenomenally good. There are some flatheads where we're going. There's some flatheads here, some blues. We usually get some good blues out of here, but and some good channels. But we're shooting for some of them yellow cats, some good eating yellow cats, and maybe some channels.
Maybe you'll actually get to see. Dad? Don't too far there.
All out with it. Good.
What type of fish is that? Is that catfish? Something's hitting.
That was color on it.
Yeah, that one's easy to search.
I'm filming for you, Brandon.
All right. Thank you, man. Alright, so today we're going to clean up our catfish from last night and cook it into something. I think I'm going to do some of it into a catfish and grits, and the rest of it I'm going to do like catfish po' boys. Probably tomorrow I'll do the po' boys, but if not, I'm going to do catfish and grits. So anyway, first and foremost, we need to get these guys cleaned up. I've got my table Lysol'd off. You know, they're still slimy, still got the skin, starting with the raw thing here. So I'm going to show y'all how I clean my catfish. I think most people probably clean them this way, but this is how I clean mine. These are really good eaters. I'm pretty excited about these. So let's get into cutting them up. Alright, so first thing we want to do is what I do is I bring a score line just inside the skin. Just inside the skin, right down the back. I ain't trying to cut into the fillet meat. You'll feel a bone right there. All I'm trying to do is score the skin for the most part where I can peel it off. And then I'll find his cheekbone, if you will. Just right about here, I'll find his cheekbone. And you got another bone that runs right here, kind of into the rib cage. So, but I'll find his cheekbone. There's some really good cheek meat right here, as we call it. Runs down into the belly. It's really good, soft, tender meat. The only problem with this is it's hard to get the skin off of it. So, but we're gonna try. We're gonna see how this works out. So I'll come down right up against the cheekbone. I'll come up, just following the bone best I can to where that skin will peel when I grab it with the pliers. Take you a pair of pliers. I have this designated pair. It goes in the utensil drawer just like my knives do. I'll start it. And this is why I like an apron, if I can put it up against me. See how it's already starting to peel from the belly meat. So you just try the best you can to get it to come with it. So the importance of scoring, because if you don't, it's going to tear where you don't want it to tear. Now if you're not worried about the belly meat, I would have scored this and come on down here, you know, along that bone, and I just took the skin straight off that fillet. That belly meat's pretty good. So now that I've got the skin pulled off the belly meat down here, you know, close to these fins, now, actually let me come down a little bit more if I can without tearing it. Alright, I can see how it's starting to pull the fin bone right there. So now, take my knife, and catfish skin's a lot tougher than you think it is. Alright, now see I've got that skin off that belly meat right there. Come along, score it around that fin. And usually once you get to about here, you don't need to score it all the way back, because once it gets here, it's going to kind of peel that skin the rest of the way off. So now that we've got it scored, now you can just take Take your pliers, peel your skin. I said he'd peel all the way off, but he did not. He stopped right where I stopped scoring on his back. So let's try and get a little bit more off of that. There we go. So now we have our skinned catfish, and we have a beautiful fillet. Now if you're not using a power knife, like Todd Creech does, what I will do, and I'm not good enough for a power knife, I will come in right down to the bone. Once I get it kind of deep enough, I'll pull it up with my fingers, and then just slow and steady work my way down to the ribs. Cutting as much meat off that rib cage as I can. Alright, so there's the spine. And usually once I get to where I think, now remember his rib cage is right along in here. So I will try and take my knife and I will come through right about there. Of course, as I'm making a video, the kids in the neighborhood with the loudest motorcycle in the county wants to come in. Follow that bone. And then come up. Now you're going to find his rib cage. And you're going to kind of cut along his rib cage. You'll feel that knife dig into his bones. At this point you can kind of flip him over, flip him around, do however you want to do it. Because his rib cage is going to come up as you go. You're going to lose a little bit more meat as you go forward. And there's your one side of a catfish fillet. Now we still got the belly meat, and obviously the other side. Alright, so as you can see, we really don't have a bloodline in this catfish, and I think it's largely a product of catching them out of the river last night. When it gets hot like this, I don't like to get my catfish out of the lake. Yeah, they're fun to catch and all that, but you will have more yellow meat right here along the back that you'll have to cut off as some kind of fatty, and I will have more red meat. And the meat's more mushy when it's hot, so I really like my catfish when it starts getting hot. I really like it out a colder water catfish or a running water catfish. So we could clean this up a little bit. You know, you can maybe take a little bit off your ends, but I mean, all this is good meat. You know, if we had any yellow meat, maybe one of these are going to have some yellow meat, I might cut a little bit of this red meat right here off the end, like that. Kind of see the backside, that red, that dark meat on the inside of that. That's what makes your fish really gamey or fishy. We call it red meat, and it's a really strong bloodline. Striper have it, almost all of them have it. So now I think with this one, I think I'm probably going to come right here at the top of this muscle line, which should be where it wrapped across his back. Somewhere about right here. I can tell that meat's a little soft, a little fatty. See how it's got a little yellow tint to it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's some kind of fat. Take that off. It makes it taste a little fishy. And there you're left with nice, good, thick slabs of catfish. So we'll use this tonight to make our catfish and grits. And I'm going to finish getting these cut up. But that's how I cut my catfish. Alright, so here we are, back inside. Got done cleaning everything up, washing coolers. yada, yada, yada. Now we can come inside. I got my catfish here in my meat tubs. And of course I got a couple scraps for the dogs. But, so I usually soak my fish in a bowl of salt water in the fridge for about 24 hours. Especially with catfish, it seems to make a really, really big difference. It pulls a lot of that red meat out, a lot of that gaminess out, that blood. It's kind of amazing how after letting it soak, especially if you're gonna put it up in freezer bags in the freezer, really, really, really need to soak it for 24 to 36 hours. So I'm gonna soak some of this and then we'll cook it up tomorrow and freeze some of it tomorrow. Probably about lunchtime we'll get it out, do a little Sunday dinner with it. I got some fresh bag of potatoes in there. I don't think my potatoes in the garden are quite ready yet. They get close, but I planted them late because I don't like my potatoes till late August, September. So try to get your salt water dissolved up best you can. I'll usually use not warm water, not hot water, but warm enough to where it'll kind of dissolve some of the stuff. So as you can see, that last catfish I cleaned, he was a smaller one, but really white, good meat, except for that, you know, that little bit in the bloodline. And then obviously on the skin side, he's got that red to it. Now, you lose a lot of meat if you try and cut that red out. So the best thing to do, set them down in that salt water. I've cut a lot of the yellow meat off some of the bigger ones. You know, the bigger ones are where you get that yellow meat, but here you can see one I didn't clean up. And you can see right there along the top how he's kind of got that red tint to him. Now you get catfish out the lake, warmer water, that yellow meat will be a lot more prevalent. That's why this time of year I really, really like to get them out of the river. But I mean, that's as pretty of a catfish fillet as you're gonna get right there. I mean, that's a hunk of meat. Firm. You know, that's one thing I've noticed. When it gets hot, they tend to get a little mushy. But I'll just put them all in the salt water. Just like that. And then here's my belly meat that I'm gonna make my po' boys with. Probably give it another little rinse off. Layer it in there on top. Now obviously you'll still be able to tell the difference. About made a bigger bowl. But you'll be able to tell the difference between the belly meat and the fillets. But that belly meat is really, really good stuff. Like I said earlier, you get on some flatheads, they got a lot of belly meat, just as tender. I mean, really, really good stuff. But it makes like a chunk, you know, more like a patty, you know. If you fry it up, almost my opinion is it almost looks like a chicken breast. So, you know, I like to use it if I'm doing like fish sandwiches or po' boys. I might cut it up. I try not to waste that good of meat on chunking it into catfish nuggets, but you know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends. But we got our bowl of salt water here with our fish layered in it. It's a good full bowl of meat. So we're gonna get it put in the fridge, let it sit till about lunchtime, and then we'll get it out tomorrow, cook up some grits, probably watch the NASCAR race, have some fish and grits to watch a NASCAR race with tomorrow. So I'll see y'all tomorrow and we'll finish this dish up. All right, good morning. we are moving. So I ended up not cooking last night, but I'm gonna cook this morning. We'll cook some bacon, some eggs out the coop in the backyard, some yellow grits with our catfish, except I'm gonna fry the catfish in the bacon grease. Maybe lightly breaded, I haven't really decided yet, but hey, catfish, grits, bacon, and eggs sounds like a good breakfast along with a must-have pot of coffee. So, and I almost forgot, my fig trees are booming, so we might even go extra gourmet today and go get some figs off of the tree. Have a little fruit with our breakfast too, so might get a little fancy. The key to grits is chicken stock. Always, always, always cook your grits for most flavor and chicken stock. But I do double the amount of broth for the amount of grits I'm cooking, so I got a half cup in there. So I'll do a cup of broth. Now this cast iron pan, this is my great grandmother's cast iron pan. Me and my mother had a feud over it. I may or may not have had to steal it out of her house a time or two because she would steal it back, but I think I ultimately won the battle. I've had it for several years now, but I do love this cast iron pan. I remember when I was little, my grandmother, great-grandmother, she used to make biscuits in this cast iron pan. And I know I've cooked an abundance of wild game. It's cooked over a fire. I don't know how many pounds of fish it's done cooked up. But we're gonna cook some more up. Alright, so while we're letting our bacon kind of cook up and get some grease, I'm gonna start working on our up our catfish. Alright, so we got our catfish that we were soaking in salt water from last night. Ran a little bit of this out. I don't know if you can really tell, but it does have a redder hue to it. Oh yeah, well on its way. I don't want to use big fillets. See, I think I might use that one for breakfast this morning, right there. Alright, so we've got our catfish fillet I chose out of the bucket. Didn't clean this one up super pretty, but it's just me around here. And I don't care how things look, I care about how they taste. So I'll pat it dry since it will be going into some hot grease. Pat dry, garden fresh egg. Make the egg wash. Chickens need a little calcium. Soft shell. Put this all up in this egg wash. Sit there a second. Trick's gonna be trying to do this catfish and everything without burning these grits. I wish I could say I use some kind of fancy bacon, but I just use whatever's on sale. Looks like my grits are starting to thicken up a little bit. Take them off the heat. Typically I like a chunky grit. Cook it to how you like it. A little bit of butter. There. While she's still good and hot. I like using Ron and Jerry seasoning. They got some stuff called white trash. I use it for my low country bulls. They got basically the same seasoning in a can called Bayou trash. I'll put it on nearly everything, but this is their pre-seasoned breader mix. When I bought a bunch of the seasoning, I bought a bunch of this too. The trick is you don't want a whole lot of egg because you are going into grease. But again, it is not a deep fry. It's just a thin layer of grease, so it shouldn't get too out of control. Boy, that's a pretty looking piece of catfish, ain't it? Right into the bacon grease. I turned it off so it would cool down just a little bit, ever so slightly, where when I put it in there, it didn't just explode. Got some a catfish fillet cooking in bacon grease. Gonna lay down on this bed of grits. Alright, that's gonna be good. Alright, so our fish is about done. Get our grits out. You know the good thing about this, you can make this at deer camp, turkey camp, fish camp, obviously. It's something you can cook on a fire with cast iron if you needed to, in a Dutch oven. I've cooked a lot of grits in a Dutch oven. Cooking grits in a Dutch oven, if you had to cook on fire, obviously cast iron pan on a fire. Catch you a catfish, take it back to camp. Batter it up the way you like it. Take a little bit of Italian seasoning. And there you have it. Bacon, catfish, grits. Catfish cooked in bacon grease. Can't think of much better. The only thing gonna be better, I need a fork. See how flaky this is. About right, not dry, perfectly cooked, good breading layer. Let's get us some of these grits. Put our preferred hot sauce on there. Now it's a breakfast for about any kind of champion. Can't beat it. Deer camp or at the house, don't matter. It's good food. All right, guys, like I said, I got a lot to do today, so I ain't even gonna sit down and eat breakfast. I'm just gonna eat it at the counter. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I think it is a little bit longer than normal, but I mean, you're talking, it went from catching, gear review, cleaning, and cooking. So this is an entire weekend collapsed in about 35, 40 minutes, is what I'm assuming. So anyway, Maddie did some of the video, and thank you, Maddie. Jared Parkins, Mafia member, had a ball Friday night, obviously. Stayed out a little late, but hey, that's how it goes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know how y'all like to cook your catfish, or, you know, any of your wild game, really. I'm always down to try new stuff. So anyway, guys, thank y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Go check out some other videos. Most importantly, get out and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the simple life. Have a good day, guys.